News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 72 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Tonight, clear and a low around 45 and wind gusting as high as 20 miles per hour out of the northwest. That'll get bumped up to 30 miles an hour tomorrow with sunny skies and a high near 64. Clear and an overnight low of 39 on Tuesday. Moving ahead to Wednesday, sunny with a high near 69. That wind calming down from the previous 2 days. Wednesday night, clear and a low around 40. Wildcat Insider is next on News Radio KMAN.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Purchase your tickets for Boo at the Zoo happening the 24th through the 26th at sunsetzoo.com.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. This is Wildcat Insider with the Mercury sports editor Tim Everson and KMAN sports director Mitch Fortner.
Well, folks, here we go. It's that game of the season we've all been looking forward to. We couldn't wait for it to get here. We've been counting down the days, the months, the weeks, the minutes, the seconds. Well, now we're at 4 days, 18 hours, 52 minutes, and 40 seconds. Away from the Sunflower Showdown, the 123rd meeting, K-State 3-4 against the Kansas Jayhawks, who are 4-3. Hope you're all as excited as I am for this week. Really confident. Can't wait to this streak to extend to 17, because you know it's going to happen. Now, you got to tell me, am I doing a good job of representing the K-State fan base this week? Are we ready for this one? Are we excited for Saturday at 11 a.m. from the booth? Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas?
I mean, projecting optimism, happy thoughts can't hurt.
I don't know if I have a whole lot of happy thoughts. I mean, I'm happy that they've won 2 of their last 3. I get that. But look, my tone is not changing this week. By the way, welcome to the game. Welcome to Wildcat Insider. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson, Cole Dutchendorf with you until 6 o'clock. We'll have Monday Night Football starting at 6 o'clock. It is the Bucks at the Lions tonight. And then after that at 11 o'clock, we will have a tape-delayed Chiefs Kingdom with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, as they beat the Raiders 31-0. The first ever Andy Reid regular season shutout ever.
Which is wild.
How about that?
Yeah.
By the way, you want to take a guess how many times K-State has shut out KU during the winning streak?
It's a good
Twice.
question. I think it's more than twice, but I don't think it's much more. I will say 6 times.
Oh, no. 0 times. 0 times.
0? No, that's not true.
That's true. I'm looking at it right now. I got the series history pulled up here. The least amount. As a matter of fact, there's only been one time K-State's allowed single digits during the winning streak.
And that was the first one, wasn't it? 2009?
10. It was the 59-7 game.
I think there was a 10-9 in there somewhere.
And 10-9 was 93.
Unless that's a typo.
Are you saying so? Sorry, I'm sorry. You're saying that K-State has never shut out KU
during the winning streak.
During the win streak.
During the streak. 16-game winning streak.
Okay. Yeah. Then no, it's all been. Then the closest margin was last year.
Yeah, K-State is not shut out.
29-27.
Yeah, the last 3 the last 3 years. Maybe that's the.
They've held them to 10 points in 2009, and that was the least amount that KU, I believe, has scored.
Maybe that's the key, because the last 3 games, KU has scored exactly 27 points in the last 3. It's been K-State that's been scoring less and less and less every year.
It is.
So maybe that's the big goal. Score at least 28 points, and the Cats will get it done. 11 a.m. kickoff. PowerCat Game Day will start at 7 in the morning. We heard from Coach Klieman earlier today. We'll certainly hear a number of his comments from today's press conference. We'll hear from one of many Kansas kids we're going to hear from this week, and that's Desmond Purnell, linebacker for K-State, going to be playing in his last Sunflower Showdown along with Taylor Portier, but we're going to hear from Desmond later on today. Do you know we got a bubble team here in town, an NCAA tournament bubble team despite losing yesterday. We'll get to that a little bit later on as well. Plus, the voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson, will be joining us at 5:10. More injury news from Coach Klieman. Basketball starts officially this week with an exhibition with the K-State men at Mizzou. So if there's not already enough stress on our plate, now we get to see what they look like out of the. It's maybe you could look at it like NFL preseason. Don't fully obviously. Mold your opinion on what the team is going to do in the exhibition when mix and match with some lineups you're not going to run.
A week away from the women's exhibition, too.
Yeah, at Tarleton State, which Mitty told us last week it's that road trip because they want the team on the bus. They want them on a long road trip, build that bond a little bit further. It's a pretty new team, so I totally understand why they're doing this. But it is K-State week. I will go ahead and break the news. It's KU week, and I break the news for you right now. I'm going to go to the game.
Wow.
If the Cats lose, I'm going to take it like a man. I'm going to be there for it, and I'm going to walk in and walk out with a K-State backpack. I bet I'd hear it after the game too. But look, let me tell you where I'm coming from right now. I'm coming from, the build up to this week for me started over the summer, and I just mentioned that KU. In K-State, it's been more and more and more competitive as the years have gone on. Look, even if K-State at this point was not 3-4, they're 6-1. And they still lose to Baylor or somebody, but they're 6-1. They won in Ireland. KU's 4-3. I'm still very nervous about this game because I've always said it. I believe in rivalries. You just kind of throw the numbers out the window. Because, look at last year. KU wasn't – they were having a terrible year. K-State was a one-loss team. And K-State still had to pull one out of their backside with two long field goals in the fourth quarter by Chris Tennant to win the game. And the last one was 51 yards with less than 2 minutes to go. That was not the way that game was going to be scripted. Nobody was picking KU to win that game. K-State was playing at home. Should have won by a couple of scores, and it was KU that should have been up 14-0 to start the game. Look, I think mindsets and, it doesn't matter what you've done previously this season, in my opinion. Wipe the slate clean. It's a rivalry matchup. There's plenty of Kansas kids on both teams. I know K-State still has more. We could see that change in the coming years. Look what KU has done with this next recruiting class. They're dominating the state of Kansas. They've ponied up with the cash. They're paying these Kansas kids. That's, I think, could change. We'll see. But let's add on to the fact K-State hasn't won away from Bill Snyder Family Stadium this year. I've had just too many questions about the operations and executions of this team for almost the whole season. I know the team is getting better. That's where my optimism lies. This team is getting better. K-State's going to see their third straight opponent that struggles in third down situations, and that's exactly where K-State's been a lot better. Third down situations are staying on the field. I asked Coach Klieman about it earlier today. The team is staying on the field. Defensively, they've been able to get off the field. They're getting third and fourth down stops. They've completely turned around fourth down issues on defense, and I think they've allowed one in the last 3 games or something like that, maybe 1 or 2. It's an area where they've just been way better. But to me, this is also kind of a legacy game for KU. Is Jalen Daniels going to go his entire career as one of the best quarterbacks in KU history and not beat K-State? This is his final shot. This is also just kind of the opportunity for Lance Leipold to cement himself as a really good coach for KU. They've been able to beat a lot of teams, but they still haven't figured it out how to beat K-State. But now it's this year where K-State's having a hard time figuring out how to beat anybody for most of the season. So, of course, I'm concerned about this. It's just a messy recipe for football. It could be an ugly game on Saturday, or it could be a track meet. It could be a whole lot of ways this game unfolds on Saturday. But, of course, I'm going to be nervous about this game. And you get more nervous as the streak continues. I respect KU for what they've done this year. Jalen Daniels is having his best season. I think they did a good job of finding new pieces to fill up that, the talent pool on offense. It's the defensive side of KU that, again, brings my optimism because they stink at stopping the run. But guess what? Probably no Dylan Edwards. That saga continues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am going to go into this game, and it's not going to change throughout the week. Not confident. I'm optimistic, but I wouldn't say I'm confident.
Here's where I am, because I've teetered from being on the fully accepting the fact that this is the year the streak is going to end.
1-2 start.
That was somewhere in early September, late August.
1-3.
Yeah,
1-3.
I've teetered to that. Now to where I feel a little more confident. I feel like things are starting to gel in a way that makes K-State at least look more like the team that we maybe thought that they were going to. One of those things that is significantly better and has been significantly better is the run game, and that is even without Dylan for at least the last game versus TCU. The offensive line is playing a lot better, and maybe we'll get into this later, maybe we won't. But KU is dead last, 16th in the Big 12 in stopping the run. They are awful at stopping the run, and for me, that feels that is good. That is an easy thing to exploit. Joe Jackson has gotten better and better each week, and so that is kind of, if you're able to run the ball, you can control the game, and if you can control the game, you can keep Jalen Daniels on the sideline. I feel good about that. I may regret saying that in 4 days, 18 hours, 41 minutes, and 30, 29, 28. But as of right now, I feel good.
Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you do have a different opinion. You took it to another level of really selling me. Maybe not selling me, but I think you did a good job of bringing up once again KU's biggest weakness, and that is stopping the run. But I'll get to that more here in just a second. But I'm interested in knowing, you, the listener, what your opinion is. 785-537-1350. I know most of you prefer the text line. Go ahead and text me if you're feeling good, if you're feeling scared, confident, nervous, whatever it is. If you think K-State's going to win, if you think K-State's going to lose. Hit us up, 785-537-1350. You can text or call in, and we'll hear from you live on the air. KU's biggest weakness, yes, is stopping the run. I get that. But I still, the way I watch K-State run the football, yes, there's no doubt the offensive line is better. But where they started was basically rock bottom. It had to. That was the only way, that direction that offensive line could go, was get better. They're still having to really grind with the offensive line in run blocking. Now, don't get me wrong, I think their pass blocking has been pretty solid all year long. And I know Devin Vass, being added to the lineup, less shuffling of guys around the offensive line. I know you're still seeing Andrew Langane do that. I wish that would get slowed down. I think he's better when he kind of hangs in a spot or two. When he keeps getting moved around, I think he's really inconsistent. But even he's getting better, and I've been hard on him this year. I felt like he should have been better out of the gate. Really, the offensive line as a whole, I think we expected that, but no George Fitzpatrick. That's a scenario as well where he is not going to play against KU. But, I asked Joe Jackson after the game 2 Saturdays ago where he ran for over 100 yards, and I'm like, dude, he had to earn every single one of those yards. The offensive line still needs to continue to work on getting to the next level and blocking. It's still inconsistent, but it is better. It still needs a lot of growing. Really does. Because, again, it's not as consistent. I think against TCU, they're still just about, I don't think they even got to 4 yards per carry. It's like 3.3 or something like that. Like, it still needs a lot of work. Now, if that means that still K-State is still better in the running game than the KU defense is, well, that's one part of the equation that I do like about K-State. But I think if they're going to win the game, Avery has to run the ball, needs to be in a good spot to run the football, like has to be successful with Avery. If you're going to win in the running game, I think it's behind Avery Johnson. And if he could pick up chunk plays, because with Joe in the traditional run, it's been real hard to pick up the chunk plays. Couple here and there, maybe. The passing game is where you are the most healthiest now. You will, it feels like the first time, you're probably going to have all three guys full go.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Open up that playbook. Let them fly. To me, that's where it could get real interesting, but KU's better at stopping the pass than they are the run.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see kind of what they're able to do, what Matt Wells, is able to draw up. But I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
From the 785, Mitch, I'm as nervous as you are, maybe even more nervous. I don't know if you could be more nervous than I am, because I'd been sweating I've been debating even putting in a credential request. Which, shout to KU, they do have a very solid operation. I will give them that. And they got back to me right away, said, yep, you're good to go. Maybe it's helped that I've been there a couple of times. I'm not excited to see their new stadium. I'm not excited to see the press box. I've been in nice press boxes. I hate the design of their stadium. I think it's ugly. I'm not a fan of the lights. I think the outside was laziness architecture. So I don't think I'm going to be blown away by that's the least of my worries. It's all about the game and all about can K-State extend the streak. And I don't even know why I'm so nervous. It's obviously because I'm a K-State fan. Like, yes, I'm a member of the media, but I'm a K-State fan. I don't want this thing to end. Maybe it'd be different if K-State had been more successful in basketball and Allen Fieldhouse. Maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal to me if that was the case. But if you were to ask me who has the better chance of winning on the road this year, and Lawrence is a K-State football or K-State men's basketball, Tim, what you would say?
I would say K-State football. Still.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. Yeah. I brought it up, though. It wasn't on a Power Cat game day. It may have been with Mason over the summer. Like, who do you like odds of winning? Because K-State does P.J. Haggerty,
yeah,
I think is going to be a boss this year. I don't know if it is 20 points per game, but I think K-State just got their best player ever since Tang's first year. I mean, that alone, we know what a superstar can do on a basketball team. That could be the guy to get you out of Fieldhouse and go win a game, but then KU gets the number one recruit in the country. He's going to probably be the number one NBA draft pick. We can talk about that months down the road when that game comes around. But
national folks don't think too much about their roster aside from their high-level guys. I mean, they're only ranked in the 20s, which means nothing, obviously.
Well, it's also, I think, just KU is trending in the wrong direction.
And they've been rated number one the last 2 seasons and stunk. So that's part of it, too.
I mean, they were picked to finish 6th in the Big 12?
Yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy to see.
I don't know. I just think there's just a lot adding up for KU to have a special day. Like I mentioned, the Jalen Daniels, this is a legacy game for him. You go that whole career of putting up some, other than the turnovers, that's been cleaned up this year. He's having a great year, and he still can't beat a losing K-State football team. I don't know. I think his legacy will be at a different level just based on this game alone. I said it last week, like typically this is KU's Super Bowl. This is all of our Super Bowl this year. This is what this season is coming down to. I mean, there's no looking ahead this year and thinking what K-State could still achieve without a victory on Saturday. If they don't get it done, season's over, folks.
Yeah.
It's over.
Back it up.
I think for me, my confidence level lies in I just need to see KU actually beat K-State until I'm going to not feel relatively confident that K-State will be able to get it done. I mean, I was 4 last time KU beat K-State in football, so it's been a little while. So I just need to see it to believe it, and I think they certainly could. But that's kind of where I'm at, is just do it, and then you can deal. You can cope. We can cope with that as a fan base after that happens.
So it's like I'm going to pick KU to win the Big 12 in basketball until they don't win the Big 12 when they had won whatever that was, 13 conference championships in a row. Or back when KU had never lost in Bramlage Coliseum when they opened the doors, and then K-State didn't get it done until 2008. Yeah, this whole rivalry has been just full of streaks.
Like at some point it's going to happen. Like K-State beat KU in Allen. K-State beat KU at home. KU will eventually beat K-State in football, but I just need to see it happen. And until then, I'll just keep thinking that they're going to win.
You were even younger the last time K-State basketball won in Allen Fieldhouse. That would have been 2006.
Yeah, I would have been just over 3 years old.
Well, we'll get to more texts and messages as we chug along here on Wildcat Insider. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm going to be, along with Tim, at Big 12 Media Days for basketball. So we're going to have a lot of basketball interviews for the women and the men's side. And then Thursday, there's going to be a lot more talk. It's basically all K-State, KU. On Thursday, and of course, don't forget, PowerCat Game Day, 7 in the morning, right here on K-Man and on 101.5 K-Rock, online at PowerCatGameDay.com. We will start 7 in the morning with the biggest pregame show in the Big 12. A lot of Kansas kids on this K-State football team. We're going to hear from one of them when we come back. That's Desmond Purnell after a timeout.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Hi, I'm Jim Morrison, and I'm running for Manhattan City Commissioner. In my opinion, it's time to change the commission's focus to control the city budget so any tax increases are tax neutral within a balanced budget. We need stronger fiscal accountability, better communication with citizens, and to focus on needs over wants. Let's fix and maintain our streets first and hold new projects until they can be funded without raising property taxes. Paid for by Morrison for City Commission, Treasurer Mark Knockoff.
This Saturday is the Sunflower Showdown in Lawrence as K-State looks for its 17th straight victory over the Kansas Jayhawks. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. That means PowerCat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will begin at 7 a.m. PowerCat Game Day is brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to PowerCat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com. WTC Fiber Internet is coming to all of Manhattan, bringing you blazing fast, reliable internet from your local provider. No contracts, no overage fees, and no installation costs. Whether you're streaming, working from home, gaming, or running a business, enjoy uninterrupted high-speed internet. Reserve your connection today at WTCKS.com. That's WTCKS.com. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet.
Medicare's annual enrollment is here, October 15th through December 7th. It's your chance to review or change your prescription drug plan. Premiums, copays, and even which medications are covered can change every year. Don't risk paying more or having your prescriptions left out. I'm Malia McKinney with L&L Advisors. I'll compare your plans side by side to make sure your medications are covered at the best cost. Local, genuine, and here for you. Call 785-280-9621 today.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It's hard to script a better weekend than the one Notre Dame just had. Not only did the Irish take care of business against USC, their most bitter rival, but the rest of college football seemed to crumble around them. While Marcus Freeman's squad was handling the Trojans in South Bend, the scoreboard across the country kept flashing good news for the Irish. Number 2, Miami, fell to unranked Louisville. Number 5, Ole Miss, taken apart by Georgia. Number 11, Tennessee, handled by Alabama. And LSU, they fell to Vandy. One by one, teams ranked ahead of Notre Dame dropped like dominoes, clearing the path for a massive move up in the polls. Notre Dame didn't just win this weekend, they positioned themselves back in the national title conversation. Marcus Freeman needed a statement win, and he got it this weekend at home. As for the rest of college football, they may have just handed Notre Dame the perfect weekend on a silver platter. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Wildcat Insider Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State head coach Coach Klieman previewed the 123rd Sunflower Showdown at his weekly press conference Monday as the 3-4 Wildcats get ready to head east to face the 4-3 Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday. K-State has now beaten the Jayhawks in 16 consecutive games dating back to 2008, but Klieman says that can't be the focal point heading into the game.
The streak's going to have nothing to do with Saturday. Who can friggin' block, who can get off blocks, who can tackle, who can make plays on the ball, who can do all the little things, and that's, in this game, those little things get magnified.
It was also revealed that the injury defensive end Toby Osinsami sustained during the Baylor game will keep him out for the remainder of the season. Rashee Rice had 2 receiving touchdowns in his first game since Week 4 of 2024. The Kansas City defense held the Raiders to under 100 yards of total offense and 3 first downs, and the Chiefs routed Las Vegas 31-0, their first regular season shutout of the Andy Reid era. For over 30 years, Texas Tech fans have thrown tortillas on the field. Now the Red Raiders are asking them to stop after the Big 12 upped potential fines for repeat incidents of tortillas being thrown to $100,000. Quote, "The stakes are too high," AD Kirby Hoka stressed to fans. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark last week altered the policy to allow just one warning.
Couple more messages during the break from the 785. Are pocket knives allowed into the stadium on Saturday? Don't know. My guess is odds are it's easier to bring in tortillas. I think tortilla. Well, Texas Tech, they kind of banned everything today, didn't they?
Take a tortilla and make a pocket knife out of the tortilla. There you go.
Okay. 2 more things from the 620. I'm tired of it's their Super Bowl talk from both fan bases. Of course it is. These fan bases hate each other. This should be one of the biggest games for each team's fan base every year. That's why it's a good rivalry. Okay. Number 2, what do you guys make of KU going all in on Kansas kids this class? Do you feel this is their attempt at building a team to beat K-State, filling your roster full of more guys from Kansas where this game means the most to them?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's their attempt. Their attempt to make a team that can beat K-State is this team, is every team. But I think if you look at, what K-State has done in state over the last couple cycles, Lincoln Cure last cycle, cycle before that you had all the offensive linemen. Cycle before that there's the Avery Johnson. They obviously decided to not invest as many resources in state this year, and KU was like, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, we're going to do that, and has scooped up a lot of good players, including Manhattan High's J.J. Dunnigan. So kudos to them. Will that gambit work out? And will that continue to be a trend in the future? It's hard to say, but it worked out this year.
I think it's the same mentality that K-State's had. They feel it's important to recruit the in-state kids and keep the best talent in Kansas, in the state of Kansas. Why not come to K-State? I think KU has just taken that mentality and thrown more NIL money at it than K-State has been willing to do themselves. JJ's right now one of the top 2 or 3 players in the state of Kansas wherever you look. He's a 4-star kid. Who I saw play basketball last year was Caden Snyder from and I wonder if he's going to play this year, Salina Central. I mean, he's a big kid who plays offensive line, and he's a hell of an athlete. I mean, he's a ballerina on the basketball court. He's very impressive, and he's committed to KU. And he's also a 4-star guy. This class does have an exceptional amount of talent. I mean, I think it's one of the more deeper classes in the state of Kansas. I mean, I'm not the most educated for sure on previous classes, state of Kansas, how you total it up, what it turns into compared to other classes. But it does seem to me that there is a little bit more when it comes to an above-average amount of talent. I mean, you got 4 stars in this class. Derby's Maxwell Robinson, he's a linebacker. I mean, he has not committed yet. Right now, when it comes to the top 6 players in Kansas, there's only 1 not committed. 4 of the other 5 are committed to KU. It's Ian Premer, the tight end from Great Bend, who has committed to Notre Dame. K-State right now in the top 15 of the class have 2 players for 2026. Lawson McGraw, whose dad is John McGraw, played here at K-State. And this is the only place Lawson wanted to go to. And then LaMarcus Barber, who's from Mill Valley, he's a linebacker. He's a 3-star kid who's ranked 15th in the class. And then out of the 4 I mentioned for KU, they still have another 3, 11 through 14, including Jalen Mason, which I'm not even sure. Manhattan ran into him a couple of weeks ago. He's a quarterback at Wichita Northwest. I'm not sure. I don't know if they are recruiting him as a quarterback. I'd be surprised if they recruited him as a quarterback. I mean, to me, he's not that high of a level when it comes to a college quarterback, but I could be wrong about what they want out of him.
Yeah, I don't know. And obviously the perception of, this of K-State versus KU in this class would be a lot different if Ian Premer wasn't headed to South Bend. K-State put a lot of resources into trying to land him, and it didn't work out. They're not giving up. I think that I saw that Taylor Bratt was at Great Bend last Friday. So they're still in his ear. So that'll be interesting to see if anything shakes up. I know that Marcus Freeman has been a name to watch for, schools like Penn State or even Florida, which just became open. So if he were to leave Notre Dame, that would maybe change some things, possibly. But yeah, I mean, but it's only 1 year. But if KU strings 2-3 years where they're dominating in state, then I think that there's a reason to be concerned. But it is interesting for this 1 year.
Well, it's hopes this week. I mean, our recruiting guys, Drew Galloway from KSO, and it is his week this week. We do have basketball media days tomorrow and Wednesday, but hopefully we'll be able to catch up with him this week. I think that's a good question for him. I think he can answer that a little bit better, have more an opinion on it for sure. But that is certainly, there's no doubt. K-State's not giving up on it. I mean, the word I think on the street was like KU would probably offered him the most money of anybody. I think that's what I had heard. But K-State still had a very competitive offer, things like that. Iowa State was there at the finish line as well. It sounded like Ian had the best relationships with Iowa State's coaches, and then Notre Dame was a big surprise. Like, we knew Notre Dame was in the mix, but him picking Notre Dame was a pretty big surprise. I thought it was going to be one of the Big 12 schools that would land him, and people around here were really feeling very confident that K-State was going to be that team. Let's hear from a Kansas kid who's been here a long time, a Topeka Hayden kid who knows what it takes to beat a team like KU, to keep his mind right and stay confident when things are a little bit down right now, but it is getting better. Let's hear from K-State linebacker Desmond Purnell, who talked to the media earlier today.
Does the winning streak you guys have in this series mean a lot to you?
I mean, of course, we got to, keep that standard that we set ourselves to. But, I mean, just same thing as I said before, we can't get too far ahead of ourselves.
Is this particular game more fun on the road?
I mean, always. It's always fun to go out there and, beat somebody in their own house. So, I mean, got to say, yeah, especially in the state of Kansas as well.
What stands out to you to this Kansas team?
They're very explosive, really good offense, really good players, whole team, defense-wise, special teams-wise, but I feel like we got better guys. I feel like we're going to go out there and dominate.
When it clicked on you early, when it clicked on you that this was just another game, how quickly was it to figure that out?
It took me about 2 years to figure it out for my first years of being here, but now that I'm, in the flow of everything, just understanding that just another team, even though that is an in-state rivalry, we take, take great pride over it, but just focusing on the other guys, helping everybody else, get through this crazy game.
What were those first few years like when you are getting hyped up about it? Just what do you remember for that?
Oh, it's hectic, especially I didn't really get recruited by Kansas at all. Just understanding that I got something to prove out there, that kind of stoked me up a lot. But now that I know who I am and I go out there to be myself, I know that'll be good.
You still take that personal, or just kind of that worn off?
It's kind of worn off just a little bit. But that's every single team in the Big 12, honestly. But just taking it step by step. That's how I think of it.
What do you think makes Daniels tick? What do you have to really be focused on with him?
He's definitely like a dual threat quarterback. A lot of people don't really think that he runs that well, but I think that he runs pretty well. So make sure that we get the ball up in there so we can make plays on the ball. Get him just making bad decisions.
You feel like he's the heart and soul of their offense?
Oh, for sure. He's been there a long time. Basically the face of Kansas football. So us getting after him is going to be a really good thing.
Coach gives you a weekend off. What do you do to relax?
Watch football, hung out with family, but just making sure that I stay in tune with what we got our game plan wise for them.
Do you have a favorite memory in this rivalry? One that you've been a part in, or one that you've seen over there?
Just us beating them in order for us to go to the Big 12. That's probably it back in 22.
The game's been a little tighter the last couple of years. Does that kind of change the vibe of it a little bit for you now that that's a little more competitive?
No, I mean, that's basically every single game in the Big 12 now. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, but it's just a good game. It's just overall just a great game.
And once again, that's K-State linebacker Desmond Purnell. When I think of last year's game, there's a lot of things you could point to. Obviously, Chris Tennant hitting the game-winning field goal. He also hit the field goal to make it a one field goal game, we'll put it that way, to make it a 1-point game. But to me, outside of Chris Tennant being the hero, to me it was the defense. Last year it was the K-State defense that changed the momentum. In the first half, Damian Leo with, a really big play. That safety, of course, it helped that the ding-dong from KU took the kickoff and then stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line, but the defense made a stop. And then the defense, when it's 2 or 3 minutes to go, making consistent stops, forcing turnovers, getting the ball back to the offense to try to go win the game. So K-State's defense has stepped up last year when K-State was having a rough day on offense. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at, we got a bubble team here in Manhattan. More details on that. Plus, last week in the Big 12, things are a little bit different on top of the leaderboard. That's coming up next, Wildcat Insider.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Don't miss Tony Award-nominated star of stage and film Matthew Morrison. Known as Mr. Schuster in Fox's Golden Globe-winning television show Glee at Kansas State University's McCain Auditorium. Matthew Morrison presents his new show Rhythms and Revelations October 21st at 7:30 p.m. Buy tickets by phone or click online. Sponsored by Shelley Carver at Edward Jones.
Hi, I'm Manhattan City Commissioner Peter Opelt. After serving in the Army at Fort Riley, my wife and I chose Manhattan to raise our family and grow roots. I've been proud to serve our community, helping hire a great new city manager, pushing for housing policies that support working families, and leading with honesty and transparency. Now I'm asking for your vote to keep building a stronger, more resilient Manhattan. Service is a privilege, and I'd be honored to continue serving you. Vote Peter Opelt on or before Tuesday, November 4th. Paid for by Peter Opelt for Manhattan City Commission, Grace Darling, Treasurer.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mcCownGordon.com. Nurseryhorticulturehints.com.
Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show comes to your radio every Friday morning at 10 a.m. We will discuss timely gardening and landscape topics to help you keep your lawn and garden in tip-top shape. Blueville Nursery has been your local landscape service and garden store for over 50 years, and we want to share our time-tested techniques with you. From vegetable gardening, spring and summer annuals, to shade trees and lawn care, we'll cover it all. You're welcome to call into the show to ask questions that apply to your own landscape or garden. Stay tuned to Blueville Nursery's Horticulture Hints radio show every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on News Radio KMAN.
This fall, Roberts Heating and Cooling wants to honor a veteran in need. Nominate your hometown hero, someone who's made a difference as a soldier and in your community. Each Friday, one will be named Hometown Hero of the Week, winning K-State football tickets from Manhattan Broadcasting, an oil change from Briggs, a $50 R.C. McGraw's gift card, and a t-shirt from Roberts Heating and Cooling. Weekly winners qualify for a full Champion Furnace and AC replacement, announced on Veterans Day. Nominate now at 1350kman.com. Just click the Hometown Heroes logo. Brought to you by Roberts Heating and Cooling and News Radio KMAN. Restrictions apply. Homeowners only. Equipment must be installed at primary residence and is non-transferable.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay. Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Ramsey Show.
So we're thinking about getting married. I had talked to her about just going down to the courthouse quick, getting it done, and then later on, after we're completely debt-free, saving up and having a big ceremony. But I can't quite convince her. I wanted to do it as cheap as possible.
He's so romantic.
You're such a guy.
Don't let Elvis be the officiator of the wedding.
You don't want the Elvis wedding? Come on.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show, weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 72 degrees with mostly sunny skies. As we head into tonight, clear and a low around 45, and wind continuing to gust as high as 20 miles per hour out of the northwest. Tomorrow, sunny and a high near 64, that wind picking back up to as high as 30, blowing pretty steadily from 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. Tuesday night, clear and a low around 39, heading to Wednesday, sunny with a high near 69.
Nice. Did you pull this out yourself here, Cole?
I did.
Is this Iron Maiden?
It is.
It's definitely Iron Maiden.
2 minutes to midnight.
Yeah. It's a good tune. Well, I want to give an update on some K-State soccer news here real quick. They did not have the result they were looking for on Sunday, man. They took that lead 1-0. And then West Virginia scored 3 straight. Cats had just a banger of a goal with about 5 minutes left, but K-State couldn't find that third goal to tie it up. Cats fall to number 24 West Virginia 3-2. That was a heartbreaker. K-State played super well, especially in that first half. I mean, they controlled the tempo. They were the better team. And then the Mountaineers tied it up at 1 with 2 minutes to go. K-State made a big mistake on the back line when there was a cross to the box, to the back post. But West Virginia won the game. But K-State did beat Cincinnati, beat Oklahoma State here recently, had that draw with UCF. Cats right now 10th place in the Big 12 standings with 3 matches to go. They have Houston on the road on Thursday. Sunday at Texas Tech. That'll be a real tough one. And then Boozer for the regular season finale, October 30th against Iowa State. So the Cats still have a pretty solid chance of making the Big 12 tournament. Need to finish in the top 8. Houston's the number 9 seed right now, so they need to beat Houston for sure. But I remember we got a call, well, it was like a month ago or a few weeks ago, that criticized me for talking nicely about the K-State soccer team because they played a quote-unquote soft schedule. The RPI loves K-State. Not having the best record, yes. They've won 7 games this year. They're 7-5-3. They're in the Big 12, Again, not the best record, but on the road, they're 3-2-3. At home, they're 4-3. Big 12 play right now for K-State to be in 10th place. They're 2-4-2. But the RPI has them ranked number 41. That says bubble team. That says K-State, look, if they win 2 of these last 3, make the Big 12 tournament, and who knows, win a game in the Big 12. This could be K-State's first ever NCAA tournament team. Like, the possibility is there, but they need to take care of business here down the stretch.
Yeah, Mitch, you would know better than I would, but this is not a position that K-State has ever been in.
Let me put a lot of emphasis on this word, never.
Yeah.
They've never.
Like, it's never been close. Like whether they make it to the NCAA tournament or not, the progress that it's been made, the culture switch that's happened is significant, and the wins have not always been there, although there have been some that have been rather impressive. Things feel much different. You can tune into a K-State soccer game and feel that you could see a win instead of what it was for a while, which is like, all right, well, let's maybe they'll tie. I guess we'll see.
Well, I feel like if K-State could have beaten either TCU or West Virginia yesterday, they played TCU to open up Big 12 play, or was their second game in Big 12 play, home opener in the conference, and TCU was number 10, West Virginia number 24. I think K-State wins one of those games. It would be the first ever win over a top 25 program in program history, but they might be in the field right now. I think they would be an NCAA tournament team right now. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I could be off, depending on where things would sit. RPIs, soccer's another one of those sports they heavily rely on RPI to determine who makes the NCAA tournament. RPI loves K-State, but K-State still needs to win some matches. They need to get to the Big 12 tournament. Let's make that very clear. I think they need, no doubt, make the Big 12 tournament, and it would really help if they also won a game or two in the Big 12 tournament. So still a lot of work to do, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look at this last week in the Big 12. 2 obviously very notable games in the conference last week, starting with the surprise of the weekend for some, Arizona State knocking off undefeated number 7 Texas Tech 26-22. Look, Tech had no shot for like 3/4 of that game. Arizona State was the better team. Tech's without Baron Morton was not a very good offense. There was a really ugly, a big hit turned into a bad play for Texas Tech where there was an interception. That's how Arizona State scored a big touchdown. And but Tech made a comeback. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But Arizona State, thanks to a deep ball on 4th and 2 and pass interference on Tech, they were able to score with about 30 seconds to go to win the game.
There was a lot of, and in general, I enjoyed Texas Tech fans, but there was a lot of talking over the last week, a lot of hubris, a lot of mentions of, well, maybe we're the next SEC team, and this game was good. We can get everybody reoriented to where we're at, which is you're fine, you're good, but let's not go crazy.
Well, I know on if it was Power K game day, I wouldn't be surprised if it was across the board Texas Tech. Look, yeah. I just thought it was fair to respect them because defensively they'd been so good. But this was probably their toughest test as of yet, and they didn't have their starting quarterback. Didn't go their way this time. Now another game that was supposed to decide in the fourth quarter, number 23 Utah at number 15 BYU. BYU, thanks to an interception, was able to go up 2 scores. Utah made it a 3-point game with less than 2 minutes to go, but BYU got the onside kick. It was home cooking for the Cougars. And now how about this? The team I picked to finish 3rd and the team that I picked to finish 11th in the Big 12 right now, tied for first place with BYU and Cincinnati, undefeated.
BYU's defense is legit. I mean, I think I underrated them because I did not know what their quarterback situation, but Bear Bachmeier has been at replacement level or better for them, and I'm glad K-State doesn't have to play them this year.
I moved BYU from 1. They were originally my preseason favorites, or I should say second. I had BYU second for a while and K-State third. But I knocked BYU down a couple of notches because of losing BYU to his whole thing. So that changed some things. But they returned they were second in the Big 12 in returning talent. And I thought that was pretty key. And look, I think it's paying off. I mean, look at Arizona State. They have one loss in conference play. That was without their starting quarterback to a good Utah team on the road. And if that happens, maybe Arizona State's undefeated in the conference right now. They're a one-loss team. Mm-hmm. Number 24, Cincinnati, no issue with Arizona State on the road, 49-17. Oklahoma State, 49-17. Big win for the Bearcats once again. Houston, Arizona, I thought this may have been a little bit more lower scoring. It was actually kind of a shootout early. And then Houston, though, they come up with a victory 31-28.
Yeah, I mean, they're ahead of schedule. And we've said it since last year, but Willie Fritz has it figured out again, and who knows? I mean, they got handled by Texas Tech, and so I thought that maybe that would send them into a little bit of a tailspin, but they're right back at it.
Trey Spivey had a 70-yard receiving touchdown in the game, the former Wildcat. TCU beats Baylor at home 42-36. And UCF knocks off West Virginia at home. Big win for Scott Frost, 45-13, that final score. Well, this week in the Big 12, we'll look at that in our second hour. But when we come back, it is the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, who will help us preview K-State KU, plus K-State men at Missouri for an exhibition on Friday night. Hour 2 of Wildcat Insider is coming up next.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
Quality Collision is still open for business while they improve the intersection by the dam. Dodging a few orange cones is worth it to receive quality restoration. Keep your car looking as good as the day you bought it. Quality Collision, where quality is more than their name. It's a promise to their customers.
Connect to anywhere in the world with daily flights to Dallas and Chicago when you fly local with Manhattan Regional Airport. You'll spend less time driving, saving you gas and time. And more importantly, you'll get home quicker to the ones you love. Click your next flight at flymhk.com.
Introducing Baskin-Robbins' newest flavor, Galactic Brownie. Brownie batter ice cream with brownie pieces, rainbow chips, and chocolate icing swirls. It's definitely out of this world. Have a scoop, shake, or get one of the Galactic Brownie Polar Pizzas on a brownie crust. Baskin-Robbins, locally owned in downtown Manhattan.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hello, Manhattan. I'm Jamie Minton, and I'm running for Manhattan City Commission. I believe in a Manhattan where businesses grow, families thrive, and our economy is strong. I'm committed to making Manhattan more investment-friendly, simplifying processes, and making decisions that create smart growth and empower our future. I look forward to continuing to serve this community and bring a positive impact to Manhattan. I'd be honored to earn your vote. On November 4th, vote for progress, accountability, and community. Vote Minton for Manhattan. Paid for by Minton for Manhattan, Kevin Lowell, Treasurer.
Game 7. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Seattle at Toronto for the right to represent the AL in the World Series. The last Kirby versus Bieber matchup had the Mariners as the favorite, but the Jays are favored tonight. 5 straight overs in this series, but I'm going under 7.5 in this do-or-die spot. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
KS State Bank offers convenient services to help make life a little easier. Visit ksstate.bank to learn more. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan.
CBS News Brief. An appeals court has ruled the Trump administration can proceed with deploying National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. A judge had blocked the deployment while a legal challenge played out.
I'm Stacey Lynn at the White House. In a statement, a spokeswoman said the president was exercising his lawful authority by sending in National Guard troops. She said this further reaffirms the lower court's ruling was, quote, unlawful and incorrect.
Amazon's cloud computing service went down today and disrupted sites from social media to food delivery and financial platforms worldwide. Analyst David DeRogatis.
Think of it as the digital phone book. It allows you to type in a website and it routes traffic to the appropriate place. It sounds from Amazon there was an issue with how sites were being routed.
Frank Gardner reports President Trump dispatched his envoy to Israel today to keep the Gaza peace plan afloat.
It is not dead, but it is in a very fragile, perilous state.
CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Now, the latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
Coming up, a man accused of threatening a local priest is sentenced to prison. RCPD investigates 2 separate gift card scams. And Riley County WIC gets a nearly $100,000 infusion from the state of Kansas for staff salaries. Hello, I'm Brandon Peoples with a look at local news. A Manhattan man convicted of threatening a local priest has been sentenced to nearly a year and a half in prison. Judge John Bosch today sentenced 36-year-old Andrew Burrell to 1 year and 5 months in the Kansas Department of Corrections. He will receive credit for over 280 days already served in the county jail. A Riley County jury found Burrell guilty in August of criminal threat against Father James Buster. He maintains his threats were warnings and not true threats. Riley County police are investigating 2 separate reports of fraud involving gift card scams that were reported on Friday. In the first incident, officers responded to a 70-year-old woman who reported being contacted by someone falsely claiming to be a law enforcement officer. The caller told the victim she had missed jury duty and instructed her to purchase gift cards to resolve the matter. The woman complied with the scammer, who bilked her out of approximately $3,000. Later that day in Randolph, officers filed a second fraud report involving a 66-year-old man. According to police, the victim was scammed out of $25,000 worth of gift cards through an online scheme. Both cases remain under investigation. Riley County Health Department Director Diane Creek delivered some good news to county commissioners this morning regarding staff salaries for the county's Women, Infants, and Children program amid the ongoing federal government shutdown.
We're going to receive $99,550 from the state WIC office for October salaries.
That still leaves Riley County about $30,000 short for the month of October because of the 3 pay periods in the month, but she says they should be able to cover that. The WIC office has also accelerated its move out of Fort Riley's Irwin Army Community Hospital building after receiving notice last week that Tuesday would be its final day of operations there. Creek says Riley County initially agreed to move out of the facility at the end of November.
We thought about, whether to enforce our agreement with them or whether to just go ahead and move out, and we decided just to go ahead and move. I think it's in our best interest to move over to Building 210, get staff settled, get everybody in the right place and someplace that's going to be semi-permanent.
Commission Chair John Ford thanked Creek for the department's preparedness for the WIC events and advised her to plan for the worst as funding uncertainties could persist now for several more weeks. Through the first 3 days of advanced voting, Riley County has seen almost 200 residents cast their ballots early. Those are the words of County Clerk Rich Vargo, who provided an update to the County Commission this morning.
So far, we have had 198 people participate in advanced voting.
Voting hours at the Riley County office building are from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and from 7:30 to noon on Friday. There will also be advanced voting on Saturday, November 1st from 8 a.m. till noon. By state law, advanced voting concludes at noon on November 3rd. Vargo is encouraging voters to pull up their sample ballot on the county clerk's website at rileycountyks.gov.
I think it's a good idea for people to know what objects they get to vote on each election prior to going to the polls. It just makes it a much more efficient process for them and for the poll workers.
Election Day is November 4th. No injuries were reported after a house fire last night in Manhattan, just east of campus. The Manhattan Fire Department says crews were called out after 8 o'clock to 326 Vatir to fire showing from the front of a home. Firefighters quickly searched the building and extinguished the fire. The occupants of the home were displaced. The cause was determined to be accidental, the result of burning incense. Damage has been estimated at $50,000. And over 1,500 people gathered for the third No Kings protest Saturday at Manhattan's City Park. The 2-hour event was put together by Indivisible MHK, the Manhattan branch of a nationwide nonpartisan advocacy group. The most recent had been held in June, and those who came out voiced a wide range of concerns from immediate action on the ongoing government shutdown to broader policy changes aimed at free speech. I'm Brandon Peoples, News Radio KMAN.
News is powered by Central National Bank with locations at the Walmart Supercenter and at College and Claflin. Central National Bank, member FDIC. News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 70 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Wind gusting out of the northwest as high as 21 miles per hour. Tonight, clear in the low around 45. That wind continuing to gust as high as 20 out of the northwest. Tomorrow, sunny in a high near 64. Bump that breeze up to 30 miles an hour. Tuesday night, clear in a low around 39. Moving ahead to Wednesday, sunny with a high near 69. On Wednesday night, clear in a low around 40.
K-Man Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452. Hour number 2, a Wildcat Insider. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury. And, of course, you know us from PowerCat Game Day. Cole Dutchendorf across the glass with you until 6 o'clock. A couple of things happening tonight here on K-Man. Monday Night Football, Bucks, Lions. We'll start pregame coverage at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock. And then a tape-delayed Chiefs Kingdom with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtz is from a Hy-Vee somewhere around the Kansas City area, as they get ready for Monday Night Football, a week from tonight, hosting the Commanders at Arrowhead Stadium. It is KU week. It is the 123rd meeting, K-State KU from Lawrence. Right now, KU leads the all-time series. They dispute this, but this is what K-State has in their records because of a forfeit. 64 wins for KU. K-State has 53 and 5 draws. I would love for this rivalry to sometime in my lifetime have K-State take the all-time series lead. And would I love to see this rivalry, also this streak for K-State, reach 18 and be old enough to get into Dirty Dogs? Absolutely, I would. I think that would be hilarious to say that the streak is an adult.
Yeah. Or it could, or right now it could probably get into the wheel in Lawrence. So
I've never heard of that.
Thank you.
Should that be funnier?
I don't know.
Should you get more of a laugh than you got? Cole doesn't know. He doesn't go out that often. I haven't been too many places in Lawrence.
I haven't either. That was just the first KU bar that came to mind.
We ready to go? All right. Let's welcome in the voice of the K-State Wildcats. Wyatt Thompson joins us. All right, Wyatt, we're off another bye week. Did you watch a lot of football this weekend?
Oh, a ton. Yeah, kind of like the first bye week, basically 11 a.m. to 11-ish p.m. and I enjoyed it. There were a lot of really good games on. I certainly, as always, focused most on the Big 12, of course. Really enjoyed the Utah-BYU game. I thought that was a really good college football game, but there were others, too. I thought the Ole Miss-Georgia game was terrific college football, as an example. So, yeah, lots and lots of football, buddy, for sure.
Well, we got a big game here on Saturday at KU. Do you know where you're going to be calling the game from since it's a new press box?
Well, not specifically. They have basically moved our location, but all of that side has changed. But my understanding will kind of be a little bit more towards the corner now than we were before. I mean, we had great sight lines in the old press box where we were probably at the 35-ish, 40-yard line. Really, really good. So this will be a little more of a challenge, but still looking forward to the game for sure.
Because I think now the new press box, it's lower, right? The old one was higher?
Yeah, I think that is right. I'm not positive of that just because I haven't been in it yet, but that's going to change here in a matter of days. But I got a couple of photos from people that have been in it that kind of gives me an indication that it'll be fine. Sightlines will be maybe not quite as good as before, but you give up something once in a while when you build new like that for the donors, and those suites bring in a lot of money, man. That's the way it works.
Well, Tim and I, we were discussing in hour number one just our feelings and our guts. What do they say going into this game? And I've said it many times. I've been kind of sweating this one since the summer just because I could totally understand it being KU's year, and they just happened to get it done. Yeah, Tim is pretty optimistic, especially what's happened over the last 3 games for K-State playing better football. Where does Wyatt Thompson stand right now about this game on Saturday?
Well, I think you should be concerned about it because the last 2 years would tell you should be. They have made this a much more quality game than in previous seasons in this streak, no doubt about that. I felt like K-State may have been a little bit fortunate last year being down, and they drop a touchdown pass that could have made it a real challenge to come back. So they have my attention. They have my respect. I think Lance Leipold is a very, very fine coach. I think they have good coordinators. I think they have a really pretty high-level offense. You got to respect all of that, and you're playing in their house, and you have the motivation that they have. That's a good thing. They want to end this streak, man. They've been talking about it for a long time. So there's a lot there. But what hasn't been talked about a lot is how important is the streak for the K-State guys? And they haven't said a lot about it up until this week, and that's okay. I think that's kind of the way they probably want it. I don't know how you took today's presser, but I felt like the guys are excited about, having some time off and getting, refocused and feel like they've got a real good shot. And basically, like what Tim said, that, K-State's been better in the last 3 games. It's not perfect, but quite a bit better. You go over there and run the ball, you'll give yourself a chance, and I think K-State's got a chance to do that.
Certainly with Joe Jackson being, he's running harder, that gives K-State an opportunity as well to be successful in the running game. He has grown a lot, like a lot of other players. Jalen Daniels was brought up a bunch today, either with the players or Coach Klieman. He says Jalen Daniels is who makes the KU offense go, as you can imagine. I would assume he's, numbers-wise, he's having his best year. And it's his final year, like a lot of K-State players as well, like Jalen Daniels. This is going to be his final Sunflower Showdown. But when you think about the KU offense, when you've been doing your research, who else do you think is going to be a big task for K-State's defense to stop?
That's a really good question because I don't think it's an easy one to answer. Maybe others would disagree. Putting me on the spot, I'm going to say past Jalen Daniels, the number one concern will be Emmanuel Henderson, the wide receiver and a former running back from Alabama. He has really, when he was at Alabama, he didn't play a ton, but he's 6'1" and 190. He plays bigger than that. He's very aggressive. He can catch the ball. He's had a lot of big play capabilities this year. And I think that's, probably the number one guy after Jalen. Some would maybe say Daniel Highshaw, but he's been dinged up a little bit, but I think he'll be ready to go here. He and LeSean Williams have both done a pretty good job, but I would say Jalen Daniels easily 1, Emmanuel Henderson number 2.
You mentioned KU's defense stopping the run. What do you think about their pass defense? Is the pass defense, does it make up for the lack of maybe the talent against the run that KU's had a tough time this year? Or is it, or are there still room for them to grow as well when it comes to stopping the pass? Because I think that's where it's going to really come down for K-State's success. Can they get the 3 guys, our top 3 wide receivers, plus Garrett Oakley really going in the passing game?
Yeah, it's an interesting thought because I do think most people have been able to run some on Kansas, some better and more than others. Tech kind of ran all over them, but that's in Lubbock, tough place to play, good football team, what have you. When I look at Kansas, I think they've got decent quality players across the board, but I do think you make a pretty good point. DJ Graham, one of their corners, an OU transfer from a couple of years ago, is a solid player. Lyric Rawls is a safety who started his career at Oklahoma State. They've got some kids back there, but also Bengali Kamara and Trey Lathan, those linebackers are decent too. I think this is just me. One of the best football players on their defensive side, in my mind, is a kid that they move around a lot, Jalen Todd, number 26. You want to watch him a little bit. I do think they have been susceptible to the run, but I do think this makes sense. They're pretty strong against the pass, so we'll see how that plays. K-State's going to throw it. That's what they do, but I think they want to, prove that they can run it on them too. And if they do that, then I think game on.
What are your thoughts on K-State's defensive line in this one? If we think back to the KU offense, I remember correctly, they've been doing a good job, not against Texas Tech, but you take away the Texas Tech game and you go back to last year, they've done a pretty good job, and Jalen Daniels is a great scrambler, but protecting Jalen from a lot of sacks. But K-State doesn't have Toby Osensami anymore, K-State's best pass rusher.
That's huge. He's definitely their best pass rusher from my perspective, and Coach did say today that he'll be lost for the rest of the season, and that is quite unfortunate. So the Cats are going to have some guys step up there. I know they've been waiting on Ryan Davis to get healthy and get some game action under his belt. Hopefully he'll be, ready to go. Will he be Toby Osensami? Maybe not out of the gate, but I do really, really like his potential. I think it's going to be just kind of what it's been all along. I think they need to be solid there. Jalen's going to be hard to get to the ground, but they do give up some sacks. The reason I say he's hard is because he can extend plays, and he's really tough at seeing and feeling those guys coming after him, and maybe I call it sifting one way or the other, or shifting one way or the other away from it, and he can do multiple moves to get away from people and extend plays and then throw on the run. He's a real solid thrower on the run. I think for me, what I would tell you is I think both of these teams would say that they need to be good defensively on first down. If they are that, then I think the game becomes very, very interesting. Would you agree with that? I know it sounds like a coach, but when K-State has played well this year offensively on first down, they've really done well. When it's second and third and 6 and 7, not so much. And really, if you study KU, that's kind of the same for them. As good as Emmanuel Henderson is, let's go back to that for a second, I don't think this group of receivers is what they were a year ago, but they also don't have Devin Neal. So they're different. What I think would be problematic for K-State is that their offensive coordinator, Jim Zabrowski, also has some help from Matt Lubick, and they look a little bit more offensively like they did a couple of years ago or so when they were really cooking offensively. But they're dangerous. Don't misunderstand. But I do think that this is just my prediction. I think they will use a little more of the quarterback option run game than maybe we've seen so far this year. I don't mean they'll run Jalen 25 times, but we're going to see it. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think you got to see it.
And they probably got to be saying, hey, we're going to see Avery run too, right?
Well, Jalen this year, it appears that they've played 7 games. He's running it about 9 times a game, so it's right in about Avery's number of carries per game.
Yep, but it hasn't been as much with the quarterback option, and they hurt K-State, at times in the last couple of games with that, and they know that. They're smart.
Wyatt Thompson, our guest, the voice of the Wildcats. You know, you got a very busy weekend like we all do. It's really ramped up here because we're now in overlap season with basketball. You have an exhibition in Columbia, Missouri on Friday. You know, I just know what Missouri was last year. I don't know how different they are this year. They were a great offensive team a year ago, and if this team is anything like last year, this could be, it sounds like a real test for how K-State does well defensively, but it's an exhibition. There's a lot we're going to want to see on Friday.
Yeah, I think that's well said because, you know, we're not going to have all the answers. And I don't think you can read too much into just the one game because they're still learning their team, and I'm talking about Jerome Tang and this staff, but so is Mizzou. What Mizzou has in their favor in this one is, one, they're at home, and two, they have a lot more guys back from a 22-win team than what K-State has back from a 16-win team. And maybe that's okay both ways. But Mizzou is also pretty deep. They have recruited well. You might remember the name Michael Porter. Well, his brother Javon is a transfer in, and he's a good player. Played at Pepperdine and then Loyola Marymount. They've got a kid who was at West Virginia a year ago and was hurt and didn't play in Jaden Stone. Anthony Robinson, their point guard, is a really good defender, good player. You remember the big kid, 7-footer at Arizona State, Sean Phillips? He's with this team now. Probably their best returning guy, if it isn't Anthony Robinson, would be Mark Mitchell, 6'9", 230-pound guy. He was really good for them last year, about 14 points per ball game, I think almost 15 in league play. And, I mean, they've got a UCLA transfer in Sebastian Mack and high-level recruits. I mean, Aaron Rowe, top 55 recruit nationally as an example. So they like to play fast. K-State's, I think, they have a chance to be much improved. I'm anxious to see how they stack up in this first game. I don't worry too much about winning and losing, but what do they look like? How do they play together? I like the group and what I've seen, and I think I hope that some of that shows. I've said to you before that I like Nate Johnson a lot. I think he's going to be really good for K-State. Everybody likes P.J. Haggerty. What's not to like when you're scoring 21.7 points a game, right? And then the foreign kids and, you know, several others. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I really, truly am.
Man, I was just looking at Missouri's roster, and I'm noticing this is a big team.
Yeah, huge. Got a 7'5" kid that was set out last year with a foot injury, top 100 national player. Mitchell's 6'9" and 230. Phillips is 7 foot and 245. That wing, Javon Porter, 6'11" and 230. So they have a 6'10" kid off the bench in Trent Pierce. Jacob Cruz is more of a shooter, but he's 6'8" and 215. And they have a freshman who was a top 80 type player, Nicholas Randall from the St. Louis area, really good player, 4A player of the year at one point, 6'9", 240. And so they've got plenty of size.
So lucky you get the quick turnaround from doing the men's game in Columbia, and then you're in Lawrence for network coverage is at 9 o'clock. Are you? Yeah. Where are you staying on Friday night? Are you going straight to Lawrence?
No, I think I'm going to be bunking for about 3 hours at what I will describe as the Stand Inn. Have you ever heard of the Stand Inn before?
I've heard about it, never stayed there. I hear the breakfast is free.
I am driving. Or riding, I guess I should say, with Tom Gilbert, our media relations director, on Friday to Columbia. Go through shoot around, do all the pregame stuff, set up, do the game, and then Stan and I are booking it back to Kansas City. Stay at his place for a couple, 2 or 3 hours, and then off to Lawrence we go. So it should be fun.
Well, I look forward to hearing about the reviews. What would you rank it out of 10 for the Stand In?
The only thing that I would say is I know the accommodations are going to be good. I just hope the coffee's hot.
Yeah.
When I get up, if the coffee's hot, I'm golden. How's that? Is that good?
Sounds good to me. And Wyatt, I hope you have a great call both Friday and Saturday. We'll be airing, of course, both games here on KMAN, and we'll see you at the game on Saturday. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, buddy. Great talking to you.
Voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, joining us on Wildcat Insider. It's a very busy week for all of us. I mean, last week we were talking about during the break, I mean, really nothing was going on. K-State soccer had a home game, of course, had a couple of home games. But we just had Manhattan High or a high school game whoever's going where.
Yeah.
And that was it. And now this week we got K-State basketball, K-State football, Big 12 Media Days, Manhattan High football. It is crossover season. The K-State women, they actually don't play until a week from today. They have an exhibition against Tarleton State. That's going to be on the road. So there have been some reports going around about them. They lost by 12 points to Minnesota, who's like kind of right next to them in the AP poll vote. But again, I mean, I don't invest too much in these exhibitions, especially now that they're playing. You know, we know about the close scrimmages, but now they're having these open scrimmages against really good teams. So we just don't know anything. But I'm hoping to talk with Jeff Mitty tomorrow at Big 12 Media Days to see the good things and not so great things against Minnesota. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Coach Klieman from his press conference earlier today. Injury updates, mentally preparing for this KU matchup is all after a timeout on Wildcat Insider.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
This fall, Roberts Heating and Cooling wants to honor a veteran in need. Nominate your hometown hero, someone who's made a difference as a soldier and in your community. Each Friday, one will be named Hometown Hero of the Week, winning K-State football tickets from Manhattan Broadcasting, an oil change from Briggs, a $50 R.C. McGraw's gift card, and a t-shirt from Roberts Heating and Cooling. Weekly winners qualify for a full Champion Furnace and AC replacement, announced on Veterans Day. Nominate now at 1350kman.com. Just click the Hometown Heroes logo. Brought to you by Roberts Heating and Cooling and News Radio KMAN. Restrictions apply. Homeowners only. Equipment must be installed at primary residence and is non-transferable.
At Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care is right around the corner.
Stormont Vale is more than just a health system. We're your neighbors, dedicated to supporting the well-being of our community and the Flint Hills region. With our strong partnerships, including collaborations with the Mayo Clinic Care Network, other healthcare providers, and various community organizations, we're committed to offering personalized, high-quality care when and where you need it most.
Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care closer to home.
Join the original influencers, influencing for over 60 years, and discover how you can turn your passion for media and sales into a rewarding career. Manhattan Broadcasting is looking for creative, hardworking individuals who have a passion for helping businesses grow through traditional and digital marketing platforms. Qualified candidates should be creative, great at building relationships, and most of all, success-driven. Apply now with the top-rated media company, Manhattan Broadcasting. Send your resume to jobs@manhattanbroadcasting.com. Our client success is your success.
Hello, I am Lou Faust, candidate for Manhattan Ogden USD 383 Board of Education. I am running because I believe education is the foundation for lifelong learning, earning, and engaged citizenship. My priorities are success for all students, supporting teachers and school staff, and making responsible use of the available resources. I encourage you to vote on or before November 4th. Paid for by Faust 383 BOE, Dustin Dunce, Treasurer.
A new roof, not something you think about every day. Good thing Buck does. Call Buck Roofing for your free, no-obligation estimate today and live comfortably under your new roof. 785-230-9379. Buck Roofing, serving Kansas for almost 20 years.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications. I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Wildcat Insider Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State head coach Coach Klieman previewed the 123rd Sunflower Showdown at his weekly press conference Monday as the 3-4 Wildcats get ready to head east to face the 4-3 Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday. K-State has now beaten the Jayhawks in 16 consecutive games dating back to 2008, but Klieman says that can't be the focal point heading into the contest.
The streak's going to have nothing to do with Saturday. Who can friggin' block, who can get off blocks, who can tackle, who can make plays on the ball, who can do all the little things, and that's, in this game, those little things get magnified.
It was also revealed that the injury defensive end Toby Osunsami sustained during the Baylor game will keep him out for the remainder of the season. Rashee Rice had 2 receiving touchdowns in his first game since Week 4 of 2024. The Kansas City defense held the Raiders to under 100 yards of total offense and just 3 first downs on the day, and the Chiefs routed Las Vegas 31-0, their first regular season shutout of the Andy Reid era. For over 30 years, Texas Tech fans have thrown tortillas on the field. Now the Red Raiders are asking them to stop after the Big 12 upped the potential fines for repeat incidents of tortillas being thrown to $100,000. Before the season began, the Big 12 voted 15-1 to issue 15-yard penalties to teams after a third instance of throwing items on the field.
Tim, you a Pearl Jam guy?
I am indeed.
When it comes to the big 4 of grunge, they're number 4 for me.
So,
and if you want to expand it to 5 and throw in Stone Temple Pilots, they're still they're 5.
Yeah, Nirvana is 1 for me. I feel like they're unassailable. And then it's probably Alice in Chains. If we're doing 5, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
Oh, man.
And I love Soundgarden.
They're all
Soundgarden is
fantastic
5.
bands.
They're all great.
AIC for me, number 1. 2 would be Soundgarden.
Respectable.
I think Alice in Chains has the overall best catalog of tunes. Anyway, back to Wildcat Insider, back to the Cats. We can talk about music another time. Let's hear from K-State head coach Chris Klieman. Some injury news. It gets a little bit more frustrating with Dylan Edwards.
We didn't do anything with him last week, and that was by design for a lot of the guys. We worked a lot more developmental last week, still some KU stuff, but a lot more developmental stuff, and I really don't have an answer on a handful of guys that we probably won't know about till Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'd say frustrating because we just, don't know what the heck is going on with Dylan, didn't work out with him. I get that. I feel like, the bye week, yes, plus, the injury report, Tuesday, Wednesday thing has allowed, Coach Klieman to kind of get out of maybe talking a little bit more about the injury status. It just feels so questionable of like what exactly is going on with Dylan. Is it the ankle thing? Whatever happened in Ireland, is that still bothering him? Whatever that could be. And especially with, that's another factor in this game. Maybe your best athlete is probably not going to play against KU, and obviously that would be very nice to have.
It's just weird, mainly because, and things are running together, but was it was UCF that he went off and had
was.
So
struggled against Baylor, never got going.
Yeah, and then didn't play against TCU. Yeah.
Didn't see him against TCU.
So that is really the only, I am on board and fine with sometimes, there are nagging parts of injuries that just take a while to come back from. But the fact that it's been so hot and cold, off and on, that is, and I understand that isn't the NFL, and that players are afforded a little bit more privacy with their injury situations than they are when they are in the pros. One could argue that they're in the pros now, but it is what it is. I just wish that we, for everyone's sake, for the speculation, because that hasn't stopped, wish that there was just a little more clarity. I mean, really, at the end of the day, people just want to see him out there because he's so good. And if that can't happen, a clearer reason as to why would I think go a long way. But we got what we got.
Well, to me, just from hearing Chris Klieman talk, again, they don't necessarily owe us an explanation on why exactly Dylan Edwards is not playing, if he's, how serious the injury is or what it is, things like that. But it like truly sounds like Chris Klieman himself like truly doesn't know what the status is week in and week out. Here's more than that. I felt like he kind of maybe confirmed the status of Dylan playing on Saturday by being asked about his practice status.
I don't think he'll be full go from a practice standpoint. It'd probably be pretty limited, but we're going with the assumption that he probably wouldn't play, and if he does, it's a bonus to us. And Joe's doing a good job. Devon Rice is doing a good job. Avery's got to be able to carry the football a little bit. Blake Barnett's got to be able to carry the football.
All right, moving on. You brought up George Fitzpatrick, Tim. K-State left tackle that they haven't had all season long. Thought maybe here towards the end of October he may be back. Sounds like definitely not.
Probably not likely, but that's something that they're still having conversations with doctors about trying to get him to get out and practice, but nothing foreseeable right now.
O-line is getting better. George Fitzpatrick hasn't played all year long. He hasn't practiced all year long. My guess, I'd say he's not going to play at all this season.
Yeah, I think that we're entering medical red shirt
for sure
time. If he feels like he, could be good enough to work his way up to the combine and go pro, then that. But we just don't know because we haven't seen him on the football field in the K-State uniform, so we can't really say how good he would have been. So it's, again, frustrating.
Few comments on just playing KU, the streak, the mentality of the team heading into this game. It could be kind of cliche questions sometimes, but it's honestly, with the circumstances, both teams maybe not having the seasons they had hoped for, especially K-State being the unofficial pick to win the Big 12 this year, that some pressure could absolutely be on the players of K-State. With KU playing with house money, they're the ones with the losing streak. K-State is playing with the pressure of the winning streak and trying not to be that team. That, depending on the player, how they would be remembered, it would vary, right? But for guys like Avery Johnson and Jace Brown, and like the guys we know as household names, do not want to be the ones that are going to take the brunt of the criticism to be the ones to lose to KU. But Chris Klieman says, look, he knows that this is obviously a big game.
I know it's a big game. I know it's a big game for the state. I know it's a big game for the former players. I know it's a big game for the fan base, alumni, all that stuff. But it's still the next game, and our preparation has to be great Monday through Friday. Saturday's going to get here fast enough.
Got to preach, as you hear from Klieman, just another not the word just, but it is another game, and the past doesn't really matter for both of these teams.
You can take everything and throw it out when it comes to this game, because especially when both teams had bye weeks, so you're going to see some different looks, I'm sure.
And the other clip that stood out to me, Coach Klieman mentioning, as Cole's been playing it during the updates, the streak has nothing to do with this game.
The streak's going to have nothing to do with Saturday. Who can friggin' block? Who can get off blocks? Who can tackle? Who can make plays on the ball? Who can do all the little things? And that's, in this game, those little things get magnified.
Yeah, in one way or another, just basically how I've talked about, this game for weeks, months, kind of throw everything out the window. I think KU was obviously good enough to win this game. K-State, I think, is good enough to win this game. I have no reason to think that this will go, I have no reason to believe that this game shouldn't be anything other than a close dogfight. That I don't want to be cliche, but it's like, who wants it more? Whose mind is in the right places? Can K-State not let things snowball if it gets a little bit bad there for a second? Because, 2 years ago, and I've heard people talk about this before. I've never really said this, but I've heard people talk about, we saw K-State go into Lawrence last year. Will Howard should have thrown a pick six. It should have been a blowout. Once that pick six was dropped, how did K-State respond? They responded with a couple of scoring drives. They took the lead. They held on with a late turnover. The offense ran the football, moved it down the field for 5.5 minutes and ran out the clock. It took a lot of grit to win that game. It took a lot of toughness. Guys with experience and leadership, and it doesn't matter if they were from Kansas or from Pennsylvania or wherever. It just had guys with cojones that went out there and won a freaking football game. I think one of the criticisms of this team is, do they see that kind of grit in this team?
Yeah.
If it's there, it's got to show up on Saturday, because that's good. That's what's going to win the football game, right there.
Yeah, you're gonna, last year, guys, you had guys like, I don't know. Now completely.
Austin Moore is one of the first names that come to mind. It's one of the first names that the last couple of years, especially last year. Him waving the wheat's one thing.
That was yeah.
But he's a guy that I think of that's certainly from Kansas, obviously, but was just a guy that played with grit.
Yeah.
And played with just a next level amount of toughness. Like, if you bring somebody back to talk to this team, why not let it be a guy like Austin Moore, who was, I know he was on the team last year, but you want to talk about somebody that loves this game and loves to beat Kansas.
Yeah.
Need some guys that have the love to beat Kansas. Maybe it just makes it a little bit more even nerve-wracking for the team, because you have skill position guys, big-time recruits from Kansas that are playing in this game. And also the recruiting is obviously turning the tides a little bit with KU bringing in a lot of talent in next year's class. And maybe you're playing with the same kind of, I don't know, just kind of spitballing here on where this mindset of the team could be. I'm just saying, if I was on this team, 16 is like a tattoo on my brain.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not thinking about this. There's going to be some nerves in that locker room because of the winning streak.
It's got to be
human nature.
It's got to be a guy like Cody Stufflebean.
Sure.
A guy like Des Purnell.
Yes.
It's got to be those guys that have spent, 5 years in this program who, those are the guys that have to kind of rise above. You hope that it's Avery. You hope that Dylan gets a chance to get out there and do it. Maybe you get to see, some of the younger guys. Maybe this is where we finally get to see a Lincoln Care moment. Wesley Fair. I was watching Lance Leipold's presser a little earlier. Lance had a lot of really nice things to say about Wesley Fair. That's another guy that they need, that the K-State needs to step up. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I feel confident early on Monday, but they're gonna need those guys to kind of dig down and find that to pull this off.
I think this will be the most hostile environment this group of players have ever played in. You can mention BYU last year. I don't know if I'd use the word hostile. It was just loud.
Yeah.
It was a great environment. This will be maybe the least amount of purple. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. I don't know what kind of tickets K-State has moved, their allotment, what they're allowed, what they've moved this year. Maybe it could be different. It feels like just because of what we've seen this year, there could be the least amount of purple we've seen in Lawrence in a while. But the fans have still been showing up to the Bill despite a poor start and still putting up record numbers when it comes to attendance. But do K-State fans, are they like me? Do they worry about being there in person to see it all in? And it's the worst day ever. And, Tim, you turn into a guy that's tagging along his colleagues, and you turn into my DD for the night. know what I'm saying? It'll make you want to drink.
Wait, why do I have to DD? If we lose, I want to drink.
That's true. Well, who wouldn't want to?
We'll make Cole DD.
I'm trying to.
I'll be on my way.
I'm trying to stay optimistic, but it's like at the same time I want to prepare myself for what could definitely happen. But mentality, I mean, I'll go back and say this, like, mentality of this team, how do you not think about the streak? When it's this long, and these kids were Cole's age, Cole's the same age a lot of these players that were toddlers when this thing started, maybe around toddler age of when this thing started, there's got to be a little bit of pressure. I would expect pressure to be on these guys to expand the streak. Maybe there could be a little bit of a mentality of, not maybe necessarily playing with house money, but maybe playing like, this is the big one, because I don't know. Again, I'm kind of spitballing here. I don't know where exactly they are. They could say anything at a press conference to say, we're taking a game at a time. It's just another game. Yeah, it's a big rivalry, but, we know what it takes to win. Yeah, that's one thing. But there's no way that this streak isn't on their minds.
This is a Jalen Daniels legacy game. I mean, 100%.
100%. Yeah. And on top of that, it's not like this program hasn't faced a lot of pressure already from the fan base with the heat on Matt Wells, with the heat on Coach Klieman about just losing to Army, and losing to Arizona, having no offense, and the way this season opened up as a disaster, like it's on another level if you lose to KU. It's already there. Like we've already had a piece of it on the heat of the struggles of this team, and that's kind of where my concerns do lie, because I've had a season's worth of, with the exception of a couple of games, of course, where the team has been playing better. And let's not forget that. But of having questions about why these plays are being called and why is this personnel out there on this big play type of thing. Like there's truly been a lack of consistency both on an execution level and on a coaching level. But I would say as well, KU has had those bumps in the road as well. They do have one game better than K-State. They have taken a way worse loss than K-State has this year. KU's been beat up a couple of times. The running game, the running defense of KU has been exposed badly in a couple of games, losing to Mizzou and losing to Texas Tech, but both of those games were on the road. K-State's yet to win a game away from Bill Snyder Family Stadium. There are so many layers to this for me that it's tough to keep my optimism, level. As in not getting nervous as the game keeps getting closer and closer to, Saturday morning at 11 a.m. We got to take a break. When we come back, quick thought on basketball starting this week and this week in the Big 12 after these words.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Hi, I'm Scott Seal, candidate for City Commission. If you're like me, you're tired of politicians making promises that sound nice but don't add up, like running for student council promising pop in the drinking fountains. Lately, we've seen candidates and even some city commissioners more focused on appealing to their supporters than making the tough, responsible decisions for our community. I'm not here to play political games. I'm here to solve problems, bring people together, and get things done for our city. Paid for by Scott Seal for City Commission, Cheryl Grice, Treasurer.
This Saturday is the Sunflower Showdown in Lawrence as K-State looks for its 17th straight victory over the Kansas Jayhawks. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. That means PowerCat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will begin at 7 a.m. PowerCat Game Day is brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to PowerCat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 70 degrees with wind gusting as high as 21 miles per hour out of the northwest and blowing pretty steadily at around 9 miles per hour. Tonight, clear with the low around 45 and that wind continuing to gust as high as 20. That'll bump up to 30 miles an hour tomorrow, blowing steadily from 15 to 20 with sunny skies and a high near 64. Tuesday night, clear with a low around 39, heading to Wednesday, sunny and a high near 69. Clear and a low around 40 on Wednesday.
Man, everything Cole has played today, maybe with the exception of Pearl Jam, it's not what I'm my thought process here is like locker room pump up music, just bang the heavy metal stuff, and that's if there's anything that's going to pump anybody up.
It's been my goal,
It's got to be a little Pantera, a little Iron Maiden. I throw a little Gojira in there, some Seven Dust. Seven Dust, Kansas City. LeJean Witherspoon from Kansas City. Great underrated metal band. All right. We got basketball on Friday. K-State men's basketball at Mizzou for an exhibition, their first of two. Still a lot of questions, I think, on the table. Just, for me, it's about who's going to be, what's the rotation going to look like at 5 during Buka, I would imagine, is going to be in that rotation. But what did the minutes look like? I think Jerome Tang, he's got to try a number of things, especially with lineups. I think is really the backcourt has to be sort of set.
Yeah.
I think there's, from what we know about this team and what we've heard from PJ Haggerty, who's done a number of interviews, because you throw in Abdi Bashir and Nate Johnson, like he kind of has been basically calling this the big trio, the guard trio for K-State. Those could be truly the leaders of this team. Now we got to figure out the 4 and the 5 and what that rotation looks like. And we know Jerome Tang wants to get this rotation down at some point to about 8 guys. And we already know, no doubt, half of the guys that are going to be in that rotation. So I think this will be a tough defensive game for K-State. That's really what I want to see is just I think these guys can shoot the basketball. And offensively, when you have some new coaches, that's obviously what we want to see. Defensively, I just don't know this team, how good they're going to be. I have no clue. So the bigs, how this team can play defensively, I think is what I kind of want to see the most.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I agree with you that I think that kind of the guard, the 1, 2, 3 guards are set up with Haggerty, Nate Johnson, and Abdi Bashir.
And throw Kostic if he's coming off the bench.
That is.
Or he could start. I don't know.
That is there. The 4 is interesting. I think it's interesting that the 3 people that Jerome Tang is sending to Media Day on Wednesday is PJ Haggerty, Abdi Bashir, and Moby Ike-Garuka.
Needed a returner to talk to the media, I guess.
Sure.
He also had the best play of the year. The dunk, steal and dunk, Arizona.
Sure.
Moby.
But yeah, is it Elias? I still haven't learned how to say his last name.
Elias. Is it Elias?
I think it's Elias Rapiak.
I think it's Elias. I think it's Elias Rapiak.
You have him at the 4. Do you have Marcus Johnson? Does he? I don't know. There's a lot of
Marcus Johnson. He's going to be our rebounding. Where is he from? He's going to be our Amarillo assassin, the rebounder.
Rebounder.
He's also going to rebound. Bump some guys out. Not a great defender.
I'm very curious to. It'll be kind of a fun late night watch after Friday night football. Settle down to some exhibition basketball. See what all shakes out.
Marcus Johnson is from Akron, the Akron assassin. There we go.
The Akron assassin.
All right, let's take a look at this week in the Big 12. We're going to have audio from Media Days tomorrow and Wednesday here on the show. A lot of interviews coming your way the next 2 days. K-State, KU, 11 a.m. kickoff on TNT. KU has opened up as a 3.5-point favorite. It has already dropped to 2.5 for KU, so it looks like a lot of money is going to K-State right now. But somebody threw it out there like this is the first time since Ron Prince was the head coach that KU was favored to win with the line opening up. I could believe that. I don't know that for a fact.
Makes sense.
Number 11, BYU, is at Iowa State, 2:30 on Fox. So BYU tied with Cincinnati at top of the leaderboard in the Big 12. Iowa State has opened, though, as a 2.5-point favorite. This could be kind of one of those. Yeah. Even though Iowa State's trending in the wrong direction, maybe BYU just gets caught.
It's a good bounce-back spot for sure, especially at home. I wouldn't, BYU can throw the football, but they're also run. I don't know.
I'm thinking about throwing this game, Tim, into Power Cake Indy for 6-pack pick'em. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. This game is in Lubbock. Texas Tech is a 38.5-point favorite.
That's, especially coming off a loss.
I bet that line gets to 40. I think it gets to 40. If Baron Morton, I don't think it matters if Baron Morton plays or if it's Will Hammond.
It doesn't. it doesn't help that Oklahoma State doesn't have anything at quarterback. I would, they're doing their best to distract themselves with other things in Stillwater, like taking off your shirt and wearing a banana costume and stuff like that. But man, if I were them, I'd want this season to be over so bad.
Whatever to bring the boys to the yard. Do they have enough students to do the paddles at the game?
I don't even know. I don't know.
All right, we got Baylor at Cincinnati. That's at 3 o'clock on ESPN2. Cincinnati at 4.5-point favorite. I'd probably take Cincinnati. That because of Baylor's defense not being that great. I think Cincinnati will win by 2 scores.
Carved up.
TCU at West Virginia. I think TCU should win that game.
Same deal.
Wow, they're a 14.5-point favorite. That was a bigger line than I thought we would see. Houston at Arizona State. I don't think it'll be that interesting.
I don't know.
You think?
I don't know.
Maybe a little Tech hangover for the Pitchforks.
I'd like it better if it were in Houston, but I'm excited for it. I'll be watching.
I don't know. I think you might be able to go to bed a little bit early, Big 12 fans. Big 12 after dark is Colorado at Utah. Colorado won their last game, but Utah, I would assume. Boy, tickets are expensive. Did you see the secondary site prices for Colorado, Utah? $175 for that game. We want to see Deion Sanders that bad in person?
I mean,
he's going to be in the porta potty half the time.
The Texas Tech tickets are $148.
Wow. Probably would be a little bit higher if the Cowboys didn't win last night.
Oh.
That blowout win screwed some people over on some Dak Prescott passing yards because he didn't throw it in the fourth quarter. All right, we got to wrap it up. Big 12 Media Day. I'll be there. Tim will be there. Women's tomorrow. Men's on Wednesday. Plenty of interviews. We're going to hear from Jeff Mittie. We're going to hear from 3 K-State women's basketball players tomorrow, plus whatever else I can schedule with some important people in Big 12 Media Days. For Cole, Tim, I'm Mitch. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go Cats.
Getting you closer to the locker room than anyone else. This is Wildcat Insider. Wildcat Insider, an exclusive presentation of the flagship station of the K-State Sports Network. News Radio 1350, KMAN.
Manhattan